It's the middle of May now, and I wanted to show you my fast track dahlias, how they're getting on, and we'll compare them with the dahlias that were set off into growth in the normal way. And there's a cautionary tale in here too. So these at the front here are cafe-au-lait dahlias, which were set into growth 9 weeks ago, and they were started on the heat mat. And the idea was to get them as far on as possible before they went into the ground, in the hope that they'll supply some early flowers for us. So these are 9 weeks old and started on heat. And alongside them here are some preference dahlias, different variety, which were started 5 weeks ago, and which is the same time as the others, which I'll show you in a moment, but they were started on heat, so they were left on a heat mat for about 10 days or so to get the tubers started off into growth. So that's the stage they're at now. We're in the big polytunnel, and these are going to go into the ground very soon indeed. I will be pinching them out as necessary, and planting them in the ground. They're just a little bit past the ideal time for doing that, and I do intend to do a video about how I'll pinch these out and make decisions about where to pinch them. So just to recap here at the big polytunnel, these are the fast track dahlias, which are now 9 weeks old and started on heat. These are the fast track preference dahlias, which were started on heat 5 weeks ago. And we'll now go into the other tunnel and have a look at the normal starters to compare them. So here we have the normal starter cafe-au-lait dahlias. So these were started 5 weeks ago, and they've been here in the polytunnel since, so no artificial heat applied. They're just allowed to grow in the normal way, and you can see how they compare with the fast starters in the other polytunnel. And now these are the normal starter preference dahlias. So these were started at the same time as the dahlias, preference dahlias I showed you in the other tunnel, which were on heat, and these were not on heat. So you can see how it compares, that what that 10 days on heat at the beginning of the season does for them to bring them on. Once again, these are ready to go into the ground, so we'll be doing a session of planting over the next week to get all of these dahlias into the ground. Middle of May, so past the last frost date, which is important. If the frost did come along, very important that you protect your dahlia leaves from frost. They're very, very sensitive indeed to frost. So at the moment we're leaving these out in the day so that they can begin to harden off, and then bringing them back into the polytunnel overnight, and we'll extend the period that they are left out just before we plant them. So now the cautionary tale. These dahlias were stored in the large polytunnel. We have to find space for them somewhere, and they were in a large polytunnel, and they've been badly attacked by slugs. If you can see this in the middle of the screen now, the shoot has been very badly damaged, so that the leaves are deformed. So a slug has taken the head of that sprout as it's formed. Another one here which is really badly damaged by slugs. Same thing's happened. The growing tip has been damaged, and the leaf formation is now deformed. Ordinary slug damage there, and there's some severe slug damage there. You can actually see, if I point here, sorry, you can point there, that growing tip, it's actually been nibbled by a slug, so that it's sort of done an instant pinching out, so that we've now got two axillary buds forming, but that poor plant is deformed and damaged badly by those slugs. Same with this one. So these dahlias were started and left in the big polytunnel and on landscape fabric, which is what we normally do. But the mistake I made is that I stored them alongside some holes in the fabric, so that the slugs have emerged from those holes and damaged the plants. As soon as I realised it was happening, I moved them up onto the off the floor areas. And then removed the slugs, but for some of these poor dahlias the damage was already done. Here's some more 5-week-old dahlias, all doing very nicely. There's no damage whatsoever to any of the leaves there by slugs, because these were stored on this elevated table, so that the slugs couldn't get there, as opposed to the other poor things that were stored on the ground and the slugs could get to them. So we'll be coming back and pinching these dahlias out before putting them into the ground. And I'll do a video of the pinching out process and the decisions that go behind where to do actual pinching out. And we'll do the planting up together, so that video will be pretty soon. So I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to meeting you again for the next video in the next few days. Many thanks, and bye for now.